Good evening, I'm Liyana Hassanel. Welcome to Bizworld. Malaysia's Export Unit Value Index in September rose by 1.6% to 144.6 points from 142.3 points the previous month, while the Import Unit Value Index increased by 1.5% to 130.7 points. According to the Department of Statistics, DOSM, the higher Export Unit Value Index was led by an increase in the mineral fields, animal and vegetable oils and fats, and machinery and transport equipment. Likewise, the Export Volume Index rose by 6.5% in the same month, in line with the increase of the three categories above. However, on a year-on-year basis, the country's terms of trade shrank by 2.1% last month versus 113 points in September last year. MIDF research foresees limited pressure on local producers to increase selling prices going forward, given that the Producer Price Index (PPI) inflation remains below the Consumer Price Index (CPI) inflation. The research firm, however, expected elevated commodity prices to continue to influence cost pressures in the primary sectors and prices of crude materials. Moreover, it opined that the effects from the weak ringgit and inflation in global food prices would also lead to stronger imported inflation in the coming months. Malaysia's producer prices registered the first inflation in 8 months in September, underpinned by PPI inflation in the mining sector. Similarly, production costs also pivoted to inflation for agriculture as well as electricity, gas and water supply. The government does not intend to abolish the windfall profit levy on the palm oil industry at the moment. The Finance Ministry MOF, however, said the government is always open to studying the method of imposing this levy. This includes imposing the levy rate and profit threshold level to take into account the industry's survival and the cost of palm oil production from time to time. MOF said the levy on the palm oil industry had been implemented since 1999, using the same calculation formula as it is today, except for the levy rate and threshold value, which have been amended several times. The latest threshold value is 3,000 ringgit for Peninsular Malaysia and 3,500 ringgit for Sabah and Sarawak. The so-called Magnificent Seven technology companies that have powered this year's US stock rally are posting disappointing earnings, wiping about $386 billion off their market value. The weak numbers are also threatening to push the S&P 500 into a correction. Google owner Alphabet Incorporated, Tesla Incorporated, Facebook parent Meta Platforms Incorporated, and Microsoft Corp have all slumped since reporting. Amazon.com Incorporated wavered in extended trading, while the remaining two, Apple Incorporated and Nvidia Incorporated, are due to report next month. The seven companies have been the story of the year in the stock market, with a frenzy of interest around artificial intelligence fueling gains for many of them. However, optimism is waning because of higher interest rates and war in the Middle East, with S&P 500 falling 9.8% from its 2023 peak. And that's all the time we have for Bizworld. I'm Liyana Hassanel. Thank you for investing your time with us and keep tuning in to TV Tiga.